Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, we haven't had story time here at Section 420, Talkin Yankees in a while, just because we've been pretty busy with the offseason and actually been more of a busy offseason than I even thought I would be. I figured there'd be some dead periods where I would have to kind of fill in with some other stuff there, but, we just have been really busy with the Soto stuff and Blake Snell stuff, speculations, and picking off players from the waiver wire. So it's been quite a busy offseason. Really haven't had much time to get into the other cool stuff that I want to give you podcast subscribers, so I figure we'll have story time again. So, you have those games that you remember, the good moments, such as, Jeter's 3,000 hit and, or Jeter's last game at Yankee Stadium, stuff like that. But you also have those games that stick in your mind, just like the brutal losses, the nightmares that still haunt you to this day. And I figured there is one of those games, those nightmare games that kind of sticks in my mind. It was one of the Subway Series at Shea Stadium. Again, this was way before Citi Field. And it was a game that the Yankees lost, but just the way they lost and how fast the wheels just came off, it just kind of still haunts me to this day. I still think about it from time to time. So I remember it was from the early 2000s. It wasn't the late 90s Yankees, but it was kind of early 2000s, again, when the wheels were starting to come off a little bit on the dynasty. And maybe as a precursor, turns out it was 2001. So it was Sunday night, June 17th. 2001, and of course, 2001, we all know the Yankees went to the World Series that year, and of course, we all know what happened in Game 7 there, so maybe this was all a precursor to that. So, before I get into the story there, I don't want to get too far. If you haven't subscribed to this podcast, you want to get cool stuff like this, as well as Yankee history, and of course, current news and reactions and feedback, make sure you subscribe to this podcast now, and of course, go on YouTube. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Section 420 Talkin Yankees. Get that channel as well, so you get the video version of the show. So getting back to this story, so it was at Shea Stadium. It was a Sunday night. Now, to set the stage for this one, it was a 3-game series, a weekend series. So the Yankees took the first 2 games. I believe the first score was 5-4 on Friday night, and then the Saturday game, I'm assuming it was an afternoon game, the Yankees won 2-1. So 2 tight ball games. Now, why is that important? The reason important is that since it was a tight ball game, Torre had to use his A-plus relievers in it, of course, including Mario Rivera to close it off. So what that really kind of did then is almost kind of set the Yankees up to fail a little bit, because by Sunday night, Torre decided to rest all his main guys, and they would end up, biting the Yankees in the backside. So I ended up going to the game with some family members. I don't remember the whole situation if we were at a party early in the day and we all went at night, but nevertheless, there was 6 or 7 of us, and it was kind of like we had tickets spread all over, so, we had 4 people here, 2 people here, 1 person there, something like that, and the whole idea is that, we parked the car there under Northern Boulevard, so if you remember the Shea Stadium, if you've ever gone to Shea Stadium, the classic thing to do is you go over to Whitestone, and once you get under the Van Wyck there, there's parking under the highway. I don't know if they'll allow that these days. Right now, if you go to Citi Field, they kind of make you go into that marina parking lot right now, so I don't know if they allow the free parking under the highway, but back in the day you were allowed to do that. And the whole idea is, all right, we're going to park here, we'll go to the game, and even if we get split up, whatever happens, at the end of the day, come back to the car, we'll meet at the car at Northern Boulevard, and we'll just go home there. So that was the plan. So now in the game itself, it was 1-1 in the first inning. Now it was Ted Lilly, the Yankee lefty, versus Rick Reed. So Bernie Williams ended up hitting a home run in the first inning there, put the Yankees up 1-0. The Mets did answer back in the bottom of the first, 1-1. But then from there, the Yankees slowly but surely started to chip away at the Mets, up to the point where I think by the 5th or 6th inning, they were up to 5-1. And it was just, the Met fans were just starting to groan a little bit. Again, they lost the first 2 games. And this is a year after the Subway Series in 2000, where the Yankees beat them in the World Series. So, at this point, the Yankees have just been stepping on their throat. So you can understand this a little bit bitter and chipper. And you just see people like, same old Mets and we stink and all this stuff. And, Met fans are just really down on themselves. And, of course, Yankee fans, rubbing the salt in the wound there. So, and I actually, so I looked up. Now, I don't know if I was a Yankee and a Met fan, or 2 Met fans or 2 Yankee fans, but we were kind of on the second level on the upper deck there. A fight broke out. That fight actually went for a couple of minutes there. I remember that image of that game. So at the point, I think it was around the 7th inning, and I think, just because it's like, all right, you know what? We're a little further away in Queens. The Yankees were up kind of big here. The Yankees won the first 2 games. It looked like the Mets are kind of just going to throw in the towel on this one. Somehow we all just communicated, let's leave early. So at this point, the Yankees are 5-1. You felt good about it, even though it was still the 7th inning. But this seemed like the Mets were just laying down. They were pretty much dead the entire game. It was even a game where Ted Lilly picked someone off second base there. I mean, that's how just sloppy the Mets were in this game early on, and their fans were furious. So Friday, I felt we had this one in the bag. So I remember I had one of my cousins with me, and for some reason, I ended up just walking with him to the car. We were going to meet everyone else up at the car there. So, we leave our seats. We started walking down the ramp there to get out. And we started hearing cheering. And it's just like boom, 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 like left, right. It's just like big cheering, big cheering, big cheering, big cheering. It's like, what's going on now? This is like an older stadium, so you don't have TVs all over the place or a concession stand you could run to, hey, what's going on? What's going on? We just assume, maybe they got a hit or something, or maybe it's the Yankees doing well and it's the Yankee that's the thing when you go to these Subway Series games. You don't know if it's the Yankee fans cheering or if it's the Met fans cheering. So it would never fathom in your mind that it was anything like where the Yankees are actually going to blow this lead. We finally get out. Now we have some Yankee gear on, and we get onto Northern Boulevard, and there's a guy there in a hot dog stand, and apparently he's a Met fan with the radio, and he kind of just gives us like a kind of a smirk, say, you guys lost. And like, what do you mean we just lost? Again, we just came down the ramp, getting out of there, leaving maybe, 15, 20 minutes the most. He's like, yeah, you lost. Like, what do you mean you lost? Eventually, we meet out with everyone in the car. They're all shaking their heads. I guess they knew what happened. And it's like, we actually lost the game. Turns out the Yankees ended up losing the game by the score of 8-7. So apparently what happened, and as I mentioned earlier, that the Yankees didn't have their A-plus relievers available. Torre decided to go to the trash heap, part of the bullpen there. And I guess the combination of Randy Choate, the lefty there, as well as Carlos Almazar, who I don't think he lasted more than 2 months in the Yankee uniform, apparently blew the game. So Randy Choate ended up being responsible for 4 runs, even though 2 of them were earned. So I guess there was some errors along the way. And then Almazar also gave up a couple of runs there, I guess, in the 9th inning for the Yankees to completely blow the game. So the Yankees, again, apparently were maybe up at some point like 7-1, 7-2. Give up 6 runs in the 8th inning, and then another run there or 2 in the 9th, and then up blowing the game. So again, the bullpen ended up yielding like 6 runs in this game to blow it there. So again, why this haunts me is just I just remember just walking down that ramp and just hearing all the cheering and just not knowing a little bit, is that for the Yankees or is that for the Mets, and just kind of wondering. And then I remember just getting to that hot dog guy, and again, he probably saw we had Yankee shirts on. He couldn't wait to tell us that the Yankees blew the game there, though. So those are one of the more haunting losses there. I always think about, even though now that was 24 years ago, scary enough. So that's one of the more haunting losses there. So and of course, then the Yankees, of course, would go on to lose the World Series that year as well, and just to complete what was, obviously 2001, we had some other stuff too, 9/11, all that. Just not a good year in New York in that regard there, but nevertheless. So that's the story. So, maybe, you think about the good times, but also, those nightmares and those bad memories. Even a regular season game sometimes sticks with you as well. So that's the game there. So I hope you liked the episode. Make sure you subscribe to get some more cool stories. I'll try to squeeze some more in there. And of course, it doesn't look like the Yankees are going to make some major moves. It looks like they're pretty much set with the roster right now. I guess I'll throw in a little news here since I got you all here on the couch. Yankees looks like have dropped out a few players just because they've been collecting a lot of players. So Jeter Downs, who they got to be a utility infielder, looks like they've DFA'd him, as well as Oscar Gonzalez. Again, he's the SpongeBob guy they got from the Cleveland Guardians, someone the Yankees picked up, as well as that Bubba Thompson, another person the Yankees picked up. He was the guy from the Red system who was supposed to be the base stealer extraordinaire. But I guess, again, the Yankees have been collecting just a lot of different outfielders there, and I guess at some point, you can only have so many, so I guess they're starting to cut people and DFA them, stuff like that. Again, these are minor moves that, Cashman might have other alternatives for doing. You never expect them to actually be with the Major League club, but maybe compete for some sort of spot there. But nevertheless, again, the Yankees DFAing a few guys there, so they will not be in the Yankees' plans come in 2024. So catch you next time.